Hello everyone, my name is Olivia and welcome to a new reading vlog. I have not read a book in weeks. In the way that I have not picked up a single book, I have not read a single page in weeks. I'm usually a very consistent reader and I usually never get into this bad of a book slump, but I just have not had the desire to read anything. So I thought in order to kickstart my reading life again, I will read 3 very short pieces of translated fiction. I am very excited about this because these are all under 300 pages and you all know that I really love short books. I think that they are just so concise and wonderful, and I think if you are able to tell a story in a very short amount of time, that is impressive to me. So I have 3 pieces of translated fiction here for you. I have 1 translated from Spanish, 1 translated from Japanese, and another translated from Japanese. So 1 is Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is the author of Before the Coffee Gets Cold, one of my favorite pieces of translated fiction. It is about a magical cafe where people are able to time travel to any time period in life as long as they get back to the cafe and the present time before their coffee gets cold. So this is kind of like a sequel to that story, and I think it tells more tales from the cafe, obviously. I just adored Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I thought that it was just so beautiful, melancholic, soft, and just the perfect book to pick up that makes you feel warm and happy inside. So I am very excited to get into the sequel, and this is the longest book that is on my TBR. It is almost 300 pages, but I think it's like 275 pages. So this is going to be the last book that I'm going to read. Then I plan on reading The City of Mist by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, who is the author of The Shadow of the Wind. Again, one of my favorite books of all time, one of my favorite series of all time. I am very excited to read this. My friend Camille gave me this copy because I've wanted it so bad. Ever since Carlos Ruiz Zafón has passed away, I've been very sad about it because I know that there's not going to be any more books by him, but then I found out that the publisher was going to release a couple of short stories that he had written, and I think this is published posthumously, or posthumously? I never really know the difference. Let me know in the comments below. But this is published after his death, and I'm just excited to return to the world. I'm excited to dive back into his storytelling because his storytelling is one of the most beautiful pieces of writing that I've ever read, besides Erin Morgenstern, who is the author of The Starless Sea and The Night Circus. So I'm just excited to dive back into these stories in this world full of magic and historical elements, and I think it's going to be amazing. And then the book that I'm currently reading is The Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, and I am 70 pages into this book. I am 92 pages into this book, and this is a book about a woman who works at a Japanese convenience store, and she's very happy with her life there. She's very happy with her job. She's in her mid-30s, I believe, and everyone is wondering when she's going to get married, when she's going to get a better job, when she's going to move up in life, and she's like, I'm very happy where I am in life right now. And it kind of discusses the societal expectations that people place onto others and how they project their own feelings onto others and how they live their life, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's not really blowing me away, but I'm hoping I'm going to like it more in the back half of the book, and I think that it's a very good conversation to have. It's something that I haven't really seen in fiction before, and I think that the conversation that this is striking is very important, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's definitely not my favorite book in the world, but it's also not a book that I want to DNF or anything. So I feel like this is helping me break out of my book slump, and I think that these 2 will definitely help me break out of my book slump because these are by 2 of my favorite authors. So I think that this whole entire TBR is a pretty good deal. I think that it'll help me re-strike my love for reading, and yeah, follow along with me on this reading vlog as we read short books and try to break out of a reading slump. So now I'm going to go outside and read more of Convenience Store Woman. That's what I was doing previously before I started filming all of this, and it was just such a nice time by myself because I did not check my phone. I just put on my sunglasses, sat on my front stoop, and just read for maybe an hour. I didn't even check the time, but it was just so nice because I have very big difficulties with my attention span. I get easily distracted. I just cannot focus on a hobby for a long amount of time. So being able to sit outside with my book without looking at my phone was just so peaceful and so nice. So now I'm going to grab my water, my sunglasses, and just sit outside and read more of Convenience Store Woman, and hopefully I can finish it today. I think I definitely can, because if I'm 92 pages into it and it's 172 pages, that's like, I don't know, 80 pages? I think it's 80 pages. Every time I do a vlog and I talk about page numbers, people are probably like, wow, she really cannot count. I really can't. I was editing this vlog and realized I never gave closing thoughts to Convenience Store Woman. Convenience Store Woman started out really strong for me. I thought the main character was very interesting because she lived a very simple life that kind of pushed the limits of societal expectations and made others feel nervous because she was so comfortable within her routine and within her small life where she didn't really dream big and she was very content where she was. And then the story went downhill for me. A character was introduced to the protagonist's life, and he just really upended the entire story. His personality was incredibly annoying, and I understand that's the point of it, but I just found him to be completely insufferable. I think he really changed the course of the entire story and made it unenjoyable for me. I think it would have been so much stronger if we just stuck with the protagonist and she didn't have this outside force kind of ruining the overall atmosphere of the story, and I thought that that character just really ruined the story for me. I just thought that he was so unnecessary, and I thought the story was going in a different direction, and once we went into the other direction, that's when it lost me. So those are my overall thoughts about Convenience Store Woman. I don't have a lot to say. I thought the premise was remarkable. I thought it was incredibly unique, but then the execution left me disappointed and left me wanting a story that I did not receive. So those are my thoughts about Convenience Store Woman, and let's get back into the vlog. Look at my little prayer plant on my shelf. I love it so much, and I never really thought of putting plants on my shelves until my mom suggested it, and I love it. And its name is Rene Magritte, after one of my favorite painters, and I just think he's so cute. But I do want to give you a reading update, and I finished The City of Mist by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I have been anticipating this for such a long time, and I'm so glad that I was finally able to dive back into Zafón's world, into his writing, and just feel just so inspired by what he can craft. Even though these stories weren't my favorite, I just loved returning to his prose. So I do want to read you the first little section of the first short story in the collection, because I just think that his writing is beautiful and it kind of gives you a taste of how he writes in general. I've always envied the ease in which some people are able to forget. People for whom the past is only a set of last season's clothes or a pair of old shoes that can simply be condemned to the back of a cupboard to ensure they're unable to retrace lost footsteps. I had the misfortune of remembering everything, and that everything in turn remembered me. I just love his writing so much, and I'm always so sad when I finish another story from him because I know that we're not going to get any new stories from him in the future. But I am glad that I was able to finish this, and now I'm going to move on to Tales from the Cafe, which is the sequel to Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This follows a new set of characters in this magical cafe where you are able to time travel, and the 4 stories in this book follow best friends, mother and son, lovers, and a married couple. I did it. I finished Tales from the Cafe, and I had a lot of fun with it. This was a sweet and heartfelt sequel to Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and while I wasn't the biggest fan of the first story, the other 3 stories were just so heartwarming, and they reminded you of the importance of human connection, taking advantage of the time that you've been given, and just appreciating those around you. It touches upon living in the moment, finding your own happiness, and just healing from your past and moving on in a very healthy way. It definitely did not live up to the love that I have for Before the Coffee Gets Cold, but I think that if you did love that book, you would greatly enjoy this one. Even though I didn't feel particularly connected to all these stories, I still had a great time with it, and I thought that it was just sweet and a perfect pick-me-up because I always tend to read very heavy stories, and I think that this one was a nice light read that I was able to get through. So I finished all 3 of the translated fiction for this reading vlog, and I had a lot of fun with it. Also because they were incredibly short reads, and I really needed that win to feel like I was moving along in my reading year, because I am not reading at the same speed as I was in previous years. I've definitely slowed down. I think I might only be able to read like 50 books this year, and I usually read around 100 books. So being able to read 3 of these very short reads was great and really fun, and I thought it was fun to have it themed around translated fiction. And let me know if there are other reading vlog challenges that you want me to do in the future, if there are particular themes that you want me to do. And I also wanted to say that I just launched my Discord server. I'm very excited about this because I just said goodbye to my Patreon account. I just did not have the time and energy to update that account as much as I wish I could have at the beginning, and I knew I just had to let that go because it was adding a lot of pressure and stress onto my shoulders. And this year is the year of me recognizing my stressors and recognizing the ones that I can let go of, and that was one that I knew I just had to let go of. So I wanted to create a similar community where it can feel safe and warm and positive, and I wanted to create a Discord server so we can talk about movies, books, plans, sewing, and so much more. I just want it to be a very safe and fun community for us to all create connections with one another, so I will be sure to link that Discord down below if you want to be invited to the server. I think it's going to be really fun and a really happy environment, and that's definitely what I need for this year. So if you do join that server, please let me know in the comments down below because I would love to hear your thoughts about it. And let me know if you have read any of these books that I featured in this reading vlog. I would love to hear your thoughts as well so we can discuss it in the comments. And if you have made it this far in the video, leave a green heart emoji down below to match the background of this video. And if you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for all your support and just for your positivity in general. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!